to Canada Hoops. It's your boy, Maddie. Thank you for your continued support. Please keep downloading and sharing us. Visit our YouTube channel. Hit us up on Instagram and X.com. Our big time guest today represents Milton, Ontario. He is a former Orangeville Bear, Tennessee Volunteer, and Miami Heat. He currently plays for Turk Telecom Ankara, and of course, he has rep big time for Canada basketball, most notably as a member of the 2023 World Cup team, which won bronze and helped the senior men's national team qualify for the Olympics for the first time in 24 years. He is Kyle Alexander. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us on Canada Hoops, man.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, looking forward to it, man. You've done a lot for the program as far as Canada basketball, big time representation to lift the program. How are things, man? Just let our listeners and your fans know how everything's going for you right now.
Man, things are good, man. Like you said, I've been in Europe for the last 4 or 5 years. Right now, currently in Turkey,
Yeah.
and I'm good, man. I'm healthy. Praise the Lord. Getting better every day. I'm really enjoying this team. It's provided some room for growth, and so just looking to continue to improve, man. Um, and I like to kind of dive into the culture everywhere I go. So I'm just learning Turkish culture, learning some of the language, and it's been fun so far, man. I'm good.
Yeah, how would you assess like your play and maybe the team's play at this early part of the season? Just you're talking about growth and maybe some opportunity. I noticed in situations you're shooting the outside shot a lot, which is cool. Just talk about the season so far, man.
Yeah, man. So we started strong. I think we won our first 4 or 5 games, and then we started struggling a little bit. So right now we're kind of like in this area where we can be really good, but it's going to take some personal decisions every game to come out and decide to be a great team. So we're kind of just at that building stage. We've had some team changes. Lost one of our guards, had to replace him. And so whenever you're losing like a head of the snake like that, it's going to take some time to build some chemistry. But yeah, man, I love my coach this year. He's a hard guy, which I appreciate. Like I like the coaches that stay on you. They force you to, come up every day, show up and get better every day. I love those coaches. I played for that in Rick Barnes at Tennessee, but this coach, what I do appreciate about him is he's very encouraging as well. Like he wants you to work on your game. He wants you to expand your game as long as you work on it first in practice. And so he's allowing me to transition to the floor a little bit, allowing me to shoot, running plays for me to shoot. Um, and and yeah, man. And so I'm just trying to continue to get better every single day, show up every single day. And this year is a very intentional year for me. Unfortunately, I had one of my first like mid-season like injuries. It put me out a couple weeks, so I missed a couple games. But I have some goals for this season that I'm trying to accomplish, and so it's just nice to play for a coach who he has his own personal goals and team goals, and so everything's kind of aligning, and we just need to like get everybody on the same page, and we're gonna be good. But it's a growing period for us right now.
Yeah, that's cool to hear. And you talk about
Mhm.
just trying to you being a guy to embrace the culture no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
What have you enjoyed about Turkey and just off the floor, maybe just things that you've experienced so far?
Yeah, one thing I can say about Turkey that's really nice and it makes it easier is that so this is probably there's not a lot of English speakers here. The younger crowd honestly speaks more English, like the college kid, the high school kids, like they actually speak more English than the older crowd. So usually when you
Yeah.
go to restaurants and stuff, unless it's like a really nice restaurant, there's not going to be a lot of people that speak English, but they're really patient with like Google Translate and stuff. So you'll sit there and I'm on my phone and I'm like 1 second and I'm just typing out a whole thing
Yeah, yeah.
and they're brother super patient because I think sometimes they feel bad that they're not very they don't speak English very well, so they're super patient, super kind. Um, I will say it was hard adjusting to like the water and the food here. I've gotten sick twice, like had some really bad stomach issues. Every foreigner on this team that came in, like every American or somebody who's not from here, we all got like the first 2 weeks we were all down tremendously bad, like
Wow.
like all bad. And then when the night of my birthday, actually October 21st, I got sick again. When my dad and my sister came to visit, I got sick again and I lost like 10 pounds. It was that bad. So
Wow.
now I'm up and up though. I think my body's adjusted now to Turkey, so I'm good. I don't know. I've been learning about like the micro gut biome. I think I'm getting more diverse in here, so I'm gonna be good. Spending some time in the Middle East. My stomach's getting stronger, so yeah, man. Just little weird things here and there, but I'm enjoying the culture. The people. Oh, one thing I have to say, dude. The people here, like they work really hard, man. Like my coaching staff, one of the best coaching staffs I've had since I've been a pro. Like everybody wants to do their job amazingly. Everybody shows up early. They're working late. Everything you need, they want to supply it. Like really there's no complaints in terms of like the organization and the club has been amazing.
Yeah, and like the basketball culture in there has a long history. They love the
Hmm.
game. Uh,
Yes.
Fan support is amazing. I mean, and internationally, like they love their players. So I imagine, it's a great spot all around, right?
Yeah, man, it's awesome. It's awesome. And Turkey's got some like you said, some great talent, some good history. Got a lot of good
Yeah,
teams.
yeah.
So yeah, it's been solid.
I'm hoping we can run it back, man. Just tell me about, growing up in Milton,
Mhm.
in the Alexander family with a lot of basketball, roots. Just talk about the game kind of coming into the picture, and if you played other sports as well, and just how things started to take shape for you, man.
Yeah, so I won't try to keep it shorter, but I've told this story before. So I actually didn't start playing basketball until I was about 16.
Yeah.
I actually played volleyball and soccer before, but when I got to high school, man, I really just stopped playing sports in general. Like I just stopped playing sports. I actually did make my high school basketball team my freshman year, but then never played. And so then I didn't really, I don't think I played again. And then I think maybe my 10th grade year, I made the team again, but then there was a teacher strike. So like I never really played basketball. Um, I really just played soccer before. And then when I got to the age of 16, pretty much my dad was just sick of me playing video games all day and sleeping in until noon all summer. And
Yeah.
so one day, so Josh Primo, who's
Okay. Yeah.
actually, yeah, he's built himself up with a great name in Canada basketball. His dad and my dad are best friends. And so one day his dad called my dad and was like, "Yo, I know this training academy. It's called Bobby Allen's. I want to take you there. Like, you should take your son there." And so when my dad got home for lunch that day and he found me in my room at 1 p.m. playing Black Ops Call of Duty in my bed and haven't left the house yet. He was like, "Yeah, you're going."
Yeah.
So he took me, started going. It started off as just like a two times a week, 3 times a week thing. I actually started to enjoy it. But I was so bad. The first day there were like 8-year-olds doing like stuff I couldn't even, like I couldn't do a left hand. First drill was do a left hand layup and I couldn't get the foot. I was jumping off my left foot, smoking layups. He had to pull me off on the side to show me the footwork.
Yeah.
And then that day I went home, I pulled my sister's hoop out from the side of the house, started working on the footwork. My dad came home, saw me, was proud. He's showing me how to, and work on it. And I started going back and back. And then, dude, randomly one day, my dad's like, "Hey, there's a prep school coach who they're looking for a player. They might come scout you. You might be able to like go get a scholarship." And he mentioned that to me like a couple months before. And I was like, okay. And then one day, like a month later, his name is Larry Blunt. He's now the head of Orangeville Prep, but back then he was just the head coach.
Right.
And he came and watched me, and um, he saw something. I don't know what he saw, but he saw something, and I'm glad he saw it because it worked out. But deciding to go to Orangeville Prep was probably the second best decision I ever made in my life, probably. Because, dude, it changed my life, like the course of everything. So I'm super grateful to Larry Blunt, super grateful to Bobby Allen.
Yeah.
And so I went to Orangeville Prep for 2 years, played with Jamal Murray, Thon Maker, Khalif Young, a bunch of different dudes, Javon Blair, a bunch of dudes that are still hooping to this day. And then did 2 years there. Was again horrendously bad. I think it took me like 6 months before I got my first in-game dunk. Like I was just bad, man. But I had a process. I worked on it. Was working out every day. I got to learn hard work from Jamal Murray and Thon Maker. Jamal would stay after the day when we'd all finished everything. I'm talking about practice, lift, study hall, dinner, everything. We're all going back to the dorm at like 10 p.m. And then Jamal's dad would show up and they'd work out till midnight. And then in the morning, Thon would go to the gym at 5 a.m. and work out before school. So I got to see what hard work looked like. So then I started joining. I'd get up at 5 a.m. So I just started working. And then I go to this tournament one year. I play against this guy named Cheek Diallo. I don't know how many guys are familiar with him, but at that point,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
he was like a big prospect as a big. I played against him. There was like a possession. We both dove on the floor. He got up before me. He stepped on my head, pissed me off. I just started going bananas, just started dunking, blocking shots. And Coach Rob Lanier was at that game. who was the associate head coach for Barnes at Texas. So then he tells Barnes, yo, there's this kid who has potential to be great. And then it worked out perfect because then they got moved from Texas to Tennessee. And so I ended up going to Tennessee. I was Rick Barnes' second commit ever at Tennessee. Went there for 4 years, man. And hopefully this I'm doing this okay, this story.
Do
But
it,
went there
man.
for
Do
yeah,
it.
okay, cool. Went there for 4 years. And that was like starting over again, man. Everybody was stronger, faster. I had no skill. My rookie, dude, my freshman year was a joke. Like they made a highlight tape after my freshman year of just like a baby deer always on the ground, falling over, no coordination. Like literally, it was like they'd show my highlights of like me shooting a reverse hook shot because I got nervous and
Yeah.
like a baby deer like stumbling around. Like, but then, by the time my junior year came around, just a lot of hard work. I had one of the best years. I ended up on a mock draft board. Um, and then my team went from being, I think my junior year, we were picked to be 13th in the SEC, which is second last. And that year we finished 13th in the country. Like we shocked the whole world.
Right.
And then the next year we were number one all season. Had a great run with them. Got a chance with the Miami Heat early. Everybody told me that I'd probably have to go overseas first and work my way into the league if I ever got a chance to get to the league. And I actually, praise the Lord again, I got a job with the Miami Heat straight out the gate. They brought me in on an E10, which is just a training camp deal, Exhibit 10.
Yeah.
Didn't make the team. They sent me to the G League. Was killing in the G League. Was like leading I was like first in blocks, second in rebounds, second in like all these things, field goal percentage. The Phoenix Suns actually offered me a two-way, and my agent was like, "What you want to do?" I was like, "I kind of like it here." So we called the GM. He called like the Miami Heat front office, and they were like, "Okay, if he'll wait till January, we'll match the offer." And I said, "Okay." And then that's kind of where things kind of went downhill a little bit because I had to wait a month pretty much. That was around mid-December. I had to wait till mid-January. They were gonna give Chris Silva, who was on a two-way, they were gonna promote him to a standard contract and give me his two-way. And unfortunately, January 5th, I got hurt. I was out for 3 months. They still honored the two-way, but I never really got a chance to go with them. Went to the bubble, was hurt the whole time. When I did get a chance to play, they played me at like the three. I didn't really get a chance to like show what I could do. And then I've been overseas for about 5 years, bro. But I've actually absolutely loved Europe, honestly. Like I'm super content. Like I love overseas. I love Europe. I love this quality of life.
Yeah.
And it's really good to you if you embrace it.
Yeah, I want to hit a couple points. I mean, like,
Yeah. Sorry, I kind
just
of long-winded on that
no,
one.
no, it's great, man. I appreciate it because
Yeah.
it helps me to like when you're at Orangeville and you're just seeing Jamal work like that. That's kind of a new environment for you because you were kind
Hmm.
of really getting going, and like you said, and then when you guys get together now as pros, like a national team camp, like um, any conversation about the Orangeville days and just being able to remember those times when you're kids, like what are interactions like with Jamal now?
I mean, so I actually just talked to him yesterday, I think was, but no, I mean, we every now and then we'll reminisce on those days, but that used to be like in college, we would do that. We
Yeah,
spent a lot of time on the game together, all of us. We have a main friend group of like five of us who played there. Alonzo Walker, Josiah Riley, Jelani Mofford, Jamal, and me. And like we're all still really close. And so we're always on the game together in the past, and we'd be reminiscing about those days. And obviously, people found out that we stayed at the place at Schitt's Creek, the show that they started
yeah,
filming at. So everybody's always asking about it and all that stuff. But dude, those days were hilarious, man. I mean, playing
nice.
Manhunt at 2 in the morning, it's pitch dark. All the trouble we used to get into as stupid kids. Like we'd be reminisce on it all the time for sure.
I wanna shout out Bobby. Bobby joined us. I think it was 2 episodes ago, to
Okay.
share his story, and he mentioned you and your family, and coming to the
Mhm.
academy, and it was cool to chat with Bobby and get his take on the game, and then also Khalif Young has joined us in the past
Okay.
too, and so when you go to Tennessee, like you know did other schools reach out too? Like you talked about the coach Barnes guy, liking you and your potential, but was there other offers? Did you consider other schools, or because they really grabbed you first, were you pretty stuck on going to follow them and go to Tennessee?
No. So actually, so my first year, so I did a first year at Orangeville Prep, and you know how you can like I think it's called reclassing or something
Yeah,
like that. I don't even remember what it's called. I
Yeah.
had Wake Forest. So University of California, Santa Barbara was actually the first scholarship I ever received.
Okay.
But obviously you don't take like the first scholarship offer. And then Wake Forest offered me my first year. And then in my second year, I think it came down to Tennessee. I think I was choosing between Tennessee, St. Bonaventure, and New Mexico. And so I think those were like the last three schools like I was really choosing between. But obviously, Coach Barnes just has such a great history of basketball, Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
Um, has worked with many Canadians. He had, Mick Kabongo. He had, wow, I'm blanking right now.
Well, I think he had Tristan and Corey, right?
Thank you,
Yeah.
Tristan and Corey. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, so he's worked with Canadians and he's got a great reputation.
Yeah. So he's like, is he tough minded? Like, obviously,
Oh my
he's got a pedigree, right? Just, was
yeah.
that really an eye opener for you?
I mean, yeah, the pedigree was an eye opener. Obviously, he was a Texas all dude. Like the resume he had at Texas was unbelievable. The amount of guys he put in the NBA, and that's kind of when you go to college. Like for most people, if you go to a high major, like you want to go with the coach is gonna and the school is gonna put you in the best position to kind of achieve your dreams.
Yeah.
And for me, it felt like Tennessee was the best for that, which was hard because I wanted to do TV and film production. And New Mexico, I don't know how many people know this, but their campus is literally right beside. Don't remember the name of the studio, but it's right beside like a huge like film producing studio, and it's like where they filmed um, like Independence Day, Transformers, The
Wow.
Maze Runner, like all some of my favorite movies they film. It's like right beside like this vast desert, so they film a bunch of stuff out there, and it's where Breaking Bad was filmed in New Mexico. So like all
Cool.
these things were filmed there, and like they would have had a chance to like internships. So it was really hard for me. I'm like, well, shoot, basketball's only for a season in your life, but and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with Tennessee.
Yeah.
It was a tough decision, but
Well, I mean, listen, you had growth every year at Tennessee and put you on draft boards. How fun is the NCAA tournament, man? Just making a run and being in that environment. Just talk about your tournament experience.
dude, it's unbelievable. So I only got to do it for 2 years.
Yeah.
My junior year, we actually lost to the Cinderella Story team. Dude, why am I? I just woke up from a nap, man. I apologize. The team, the team I'm talking about, they had the sister Jean. Remember
Oh,
that team?
isn't it
I'm
Loyola Chicago
blanking.
or Loyola?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you, thank you. Yeah, we lost to them in the second round earlier than we were supposed to. So we lost to them. But dude, and then the second year we only made it to the Sweet 16. I think we all thought we'd go a little further, but man, it was incredible, dude. Like the atmosphere, the fans,
Yeah.
people are flying out to the hotel as you're going out to the game. You're getting a standing ovation as you're going to the game, and they
Yeah.
give you a brand new pair of shoes that like nobody else gets. At least not for a while. Like they're brand new shoes, like Katie's or something or Kyrie's, and then dude, the atmosphere, it's like the whole arena is filled and half the arena is for one team and half the arena is for the other team. And like it's
Nice.
just, it was an unbelievable experience, man.
Well, your senior's name on draft boards, Kyle, and
Mhm.
it's a possibility. Just talk about turning pro as a whole and just workouts. Like, what did you log for workouts for teams? Just take me through that, man.
Yeah, man, you're gonna make me stretch my memory today. So, I so no, dude, being pro is awesome, man. Because I'll be honest, I regret it now, but I was not the best student in college. Like, I didn't really have like a care for academics. I love knowledge now. I wish I took advantage of it when I was in school, but
I feel
so
you.
now like. Yeah, so
Yeah.
now like being free to just hoop and like having free time to actually study what you want and read the books you want, like it's amazing, man. And like you're traveling the world, you're getting paid to do something you love. It's amazing. But I guess to start off, like it was really cool. So I worked out for 11 teams. Like it's somewhere in the middle. Like some people only get a chance to work out for a few. Some people work out for like 16, 15. I get to
Yeah.
work out for 11 teams. What I used to have a list on my phone. I can name a few. So Raptors, Minnesota, Miami, Cleveland. Um, I worked out for that's only four right there. Um, if you ran some teams by me, I'd be able to tell you, but I worked out for 11 teams. I think Minnesota and the Raptors was my best. Phoenix was my worst, which sucked because they had like five draft picks that year. and
Right.
some of them were late rounds, but I wasn't. It was one of my first ones, and I wasn't prepared. Um, and then I think my first one was Brooklyn was my first workout. So there you go. That's 6 right there. So I'm missing 5. But yeah, I worked out for 11 teams, and
Yeah.
dude, it was cool. It's really nerve wracking because you feel like you're going into these. At least for me, I was an overthinker, and I'm like, okay, like I'm always wondering, okay, well, have I been training hard enough? How's my shot been feeling? Like at the end of every workout, they do like usually every team will have you do like you'll make 100 shots, usually threes, and they want to get your number out of 100 and see what your percentage is. You play a lot of pickup, usually, except for Minnesota, which we had, dude, there was like 50 dudes at that workout.
Wow.
Um, it was not 50, it was like 20 dudes at that workout, which is a lot. It is like in like 3 different groups. Most workouts, there were only like 6, maybe 8 guys. So you're playing like 3-on-3, 4-on-4, full court. Like you're exhausted, you're tired. Sometimes you'll do a back-to-back workout. So you'll work out. So like I'll work out with Minnesota one day, then fly to Chicago and work out for Chicago like the next day, like or
Yeah.
like 2 days later, like so it's not easy, it's tough. But it's dope, dude. You're getting free gear, you're traveling to these teams, you're like, man, I'm living out my dream. So it's
Yeah.
fun, man. It was fun process.
Yeah. I got to ask you about the time with the Heat and the bubble,
Hmm.
and like you said, you were coming off the injury, but cool experience, I'm sure, for a lot of reasons. And the
100%.
world was in a weird spot, of course, and you guys put up a good fight against the Lakers. Kelly had a monster game in the final. Just if you can, if there's anything that stands out about the bubble and just being a part of that process, man.
I mean, dude, a lot stands out about the bubble. It was definitely an interesting time. Um, like I said, like I had gotten injured. I was out for 3.5 months,
Right.
and then I got cleared. And then the next day I did like a pool workout. The next day I did my first on-court workout. And then the next day, Rudy Gobert did the thing where he touched all the mics, caught COVID, and then the league shut down.
Yeah.
So I'd
Yeah.
been out for 3.5 months, got 2 workouts in, and then I was out for another 3.5 months. So I was not able to. I worked out in 7 months. I had about 6 on-court workouts. And
Wow.
so then I went to the bubble extremely unprepared. Like my body wasn't ready, my knee was still not ready. I was wearing a knee brace at the time, and so it just sucks. Like I never really got a chance to kind of like compete for a spot. But there's other ways to compete, like mentally and other things that like I was too immature to realize there's other ways you could. I thought like, oh, I can't really play. Like it's curtains for me, right? Like, and I kind of played into that a little bit.
Okay.
But there's other ways that you can like earn a chance to like get a chance, right? So, but the bubble was awesome. For me personally, I was lifting 6 days a week in there. And then so when I transitioned to going overseas a month after I left the bubble, um, I was dominating because I was working out with NBA trainers on court. I was working out 3 times a day sometimes. But then the bubble itself was an awesome experience. Like, it was a little weird. You're in a hotel room I think we were there for 96 days.
Wow.
Um, yeah, you're in a hotel room. You can't really do anything. You have to like get a COVID test every day. You gotta, you're driving maybe a couple miles to this arena to go play. You're kind of like just in this huge bubble, and but it was amazing. I got to make a finals run with an NBA team my rookie year in the league, even though I didn't really
Yeah.
get to contribute how I wanted to. I remember when we played. I think it was no, nah, it was Milwaukee. We played Milwaukee. I was on scout team, so at the time I was getting back right, and so what they did was like they had me play um, Brooke Lopez on
Okay.
the on Milwaukee, and they had like KZ Okpala play Giannis, and so like they had me in the drop just like there, and I had to let go. And like one day I actually did a really great job. Like I was blocking a bunch of shots, I was beating guys at the rim, beating shots off the glass, and like Spoelstra was so grateful. He's like, "Bro, thank you. Like you don't realize how much you helped us prepare today. And, like you bought me and KZ lunch, like So I was able to like I was able to contribute in ways that like unconventional, but it was still nice to know that you contributed. And then I got obviously a really nice playoff bonus for that, which put me on my feet early as a rookie in the game. So I'm great. I'm grateful for that. Like, dude, honestly, like they didn't have to give me a chance. They didn't have to bring me to the bubble. Like a lot of teams didn't. Like with the 2 ways, you can choose whether or not you wanted to bring them. They brought both me and Gabe Vincent. And so like, it was just an amazing experience. Like I'm really grateful for the Miami Heat organization for that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you talk about pro teams and it's a business, but a lot of us, when we see things, it's well known that Miami is a real first class organization, top to bottom,
Hmm.
how they treat players and how they approach things and that heat culture, if you will. And I'm sure you can attest to that. And Coach Spo is one of
100%.
the all-time greats. He seems like a great guy, man. So it's
Hmm.
cool to see you have that opportunity to make a run and see Kelly, with the Heat at the same time. And
Yeah.
like I said, he had a big game in the finals, which was cool. So I want to ask you about the CEBL, a little brief time in
Okay.
there as well. Such a great league to have back in Canada now for a lot of players like yourselves to be able to play at home and in front of friends and family where you don't get to do that very much anymore. Just talk about the CEBL, man, your thoughts and just how it's made an impact already, man.
Yeah, the CBL is awesome, man, because like you mentioned, like a lot of us who aren't NBA players who don't get that chance to stop in Toronto and play that Raptors game,
Yeah,
like a lot of our families, don't get to see us play. My parents only made it to like maybe a handful of games my whole collegiate career, like it was a 13-hour drive to Tennessee. So um it's nice to be able to play in the CBL, to play those games, have your parents come to watch. It's also amazing because um what people don't take into account is we're not like in the NBA, right? In the NBA, you get paid from November to November, right? You get paid for 12 years, for 12 months, sorry. And overseas, you get paid just for the 10 months. Some teams, actually, that's a lot. Some teams do, but it's very rare. Like my sister had one team she played for, they did, but it's very rare. Like most of the time, you're getting that last check in like June,
yeah,
maybe earlier, depending on, what team you play for. And so it's nice to go to the CBL and you get a chance to play at home. You get a chance to stay in game shape all summer long. And then on top of that, you make a paycheck. So you don't have to touch any of your contract money. You can kind of just use this money that you get paid per game and
yeah,
have that as like your summer funds. The only thing I'll say with the CBL, which one of my friends said the same thing, is sometimes there needs to be a mix. And it's tough because the CBL starts in May, ends in August. Usually you have to report in August. Most dudes' seasons finish, if you're on a good team, a little bit after May. So you jump from one season into the next. And the second that season finishes, you go into the next. So it's like you don't really get a break. So you
yeah,
kind of play straight through. And then on top of that, there needs to be a mix of like, I think, of skills training and competing in the summer, which makes it tough because I know that when I left from the CBL and went to Valencia, it was the least skills I did all summer. And I thought, oh, playing is what I need. I'm still developing. I started late. I started at 16. I haven't been playing for 10 years yet. I need to like work on my game and work on playing. But then when I went to Valencia, I feel like I hadn't worked on my skills enough that summer. And I think that was one of the worst years I had overseas, you know? And then one of my boys also did this. He did the same thing. He played in the CBL, went overseas, and was like, you know what? I don't feel like I worked on my game enough. So you got to find like a nice little balance. But the CBL is honestly an amazing opportunity. It is.
yeah. It's cool. They've done a great job. I know, like,
Yeah.
they promote guys like through the season. The rosters change a lot because a guy might go seek an opportunity in summer league or with
Exactly.
the G. So
Yeah.
they've done a good job, and it promotes the CEBL too. Like if a guy goes down to summer league with a G and he's like, wow, just playing in the CEBL, it's good promotion for the
Mm.
CEBL as well. So yeah, I think they just
Exactly.
announced like they've increased the number of games for the season just earlier
Okay.
this week. So I think they're trying to go up to, don't quote me, I think it's like 24 games now. They've extended the season. So it kind of points to what you just spoke about in terms of it might not be much of a break for some guys, but they have to head back
Yeah.
overseas, right? Man, you played in Spain, Israel, obviously now in Turkey, a lot of different
Mhm.
stops. Do you have a favorite stop? I mean, overseas, if
Yes,
you
I
will?
do.
Yeah,
Yes, I do. It's a controversial answer, man, but yes, I do. So personally, dude, last year, I don't, besides Toronto, number one city in the world, in my opinion. Toronto's unbeatable. Like
yeah,
nobody, no city will ever beat Toronto. But dude, a close second, dude, Tel Aviv is an amazing city. Like it's an amazing city. It just sucks that I was there on the brink of war. It was not the brink of, in the midst of war.
yeah,
But dude, Tel Aviv, unbelievable. My only two complaints about Tel Aviv, three actually. Obviously, number one, war. Two, traffic is unbelievable. Three, when I was there, it was the eighth most expensive country in the world. So, or city in the world. So it's just unbelievably expensive. But dude, Tel Aviv, 100% my favorite destination overseas so far. I don't know if a city will ever beat Tel Aviv. That was unbelievable. beaches everywhere you go, amazing food, very nice people, um, beautiful weather, uh, beautiful. I'm gonna be honest, beautiful women,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
and and there was one other thing I was gonna say, but it just slipped my mind. So that's number one, and then number two for me is Valencia. Valencia was also amazing.
Cool.
Valencia was great. Yeah,
Um, yeah, like it's cool when you hear guys' stories, right? Like it's just a lot of different stops, and you get to embrace so much and experience so much that you
yeah,
wouldn't necessarily if you're playing one place for the duration of your career, right? So it's just I always like
hmm
asking that. Just to, I think Canadians are pretty good travelers as a whole, and like to
yeah.
experience different things. So it's cool to hear that.
And how much of a blessing is it to be able to say like, yo, I've lived in 5 different countries. Like, how many people can actually say that?
Yeah,
Like it's an unbelievable thing that like playing overseas basketball, you become so cultured. Like I'll be able to say after this year, I've lived in 5 countries. It's amazing. Oh,
yeah,
and Tel Aviv, 90% of the people speak English. That's what I was gonna
perfect,
say. Yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Very easy transition.
Kyle, man, here on Canada Hoops, like we love to talk Canada basketball, especially with guests who have played for the program, which you have obviously done. You know, in your career so far, what has playing for Canada meant for you, and just represent your country in the program, man?
It's gonna sound cliche, man, but it's the cliche answer. Like, dude, when you have your country on your chest, it just hits different.
Yeah,
When you have that Canada on your chest, like it's one thing. Like if you're in the NBA and you play for the Raptors, like you kind of represent all of Canada, kind
yeah,
of,
yeah,
right? But when you literally have the Canada on your chest, and like I get to be on a World Cup team that makes bronze, like all the Canadian basketball players that are Canadians that are great at basketball, and I happen to make myself on that team,
yeah,
and I get to go and we win bronze, and I'm playing with the best players in Canada at the moment. Like, not all the best players were on that team, but we're the best Canada has to offer on this team, and we're going and we're competing and we get third place. Like, dude, it's an unbelievable feeling, to represent your country, to be playing with the best guys in your country. Even when I go to the even when we go to the FIBA windows,
yeah,
it's just an unbelievable experience. So I really appreciate it. And then honestly, they're really professional. Like Canada Basketball does an amazing job of trying to make sure that they're a top of the line organization. Like they're really intentional about that. So they really take care of us. In the summers, they offer another opportunity because I'm not going to lie, it's not easy sometimes to stay home and train. Like I find myself in Phoenix a lot because of the resources there are better.
yeah,
But when I do want to come home, let's say for a week or two, or let's say for Caravana, I want to be in the city for Caravana. Canada Basketball offers like an amazing opportunity. I don't even know what it stands for. It's called like the NTC or something. It's like the training facility. So all the guys, you can pretty much text the group chat, say like, "Yo, can I come work out tomorrow?" He'll tell you the times you have. You'll show up. You can lift. You can get a skills workout with great trainers, and then twice a week they'll have pickups. So now you can play pickup against the best Canada has to offer in the summer. So like everything
nice.
that they're doing is just very professional, and it's very beneficial for all the players. So I'm appreciative to be a part of
Love it,
the
man. What
community.
what are the what are the
Yeah.
conversations like for you and your family when it comes to representing Canada? Like obviously Kayla has done so much, and that's got to be a cool dynamic. But like when you know I've asked guests this, like obviously there's a lot to be said about Canada on the front, but work gets put in to put Alexander on the back from mom and dad and sister and brother. Like just what are those dinner table conversations like when it comes to that, man? That's got to be really cool.
You mean in terms of like what do we talk about with them, like with their kids representing Canada?
Yeah, just like it takes a lot of sacrifice and commitment from everyone to get to
Yeah, it
that
does.
position for you to do it or Kayla to do it, and obviously to have both you and her at the same time represent the national team together and making an impact. Like not a lot of families in the country can say that, right? So that's pretty cool, man. I'm just wondering what those conversations are
Yeah.
like.
No, obviously, parents are super proud. Like mom, she loves it. Anytime, moms can brag on their kids, they love it. So she's always super grateful to be able to, have both of us representing the country, playing well. She wants to see us do well and succeed, achieve our dreams. But it does mean, time away from home. That World Cup commitment was a
Yeah,
6 week summer commitment. So that took me out the house again. Already gone for 10 months, took me out the house for 6 more weeks. And so you have to be really intentional about spending time with your family when you do have that free time. So, like you said, it is a sacrifice. And we're not the only one sacrificing. Like, yeah, we're away from home. Like I said, I love Toronto. Every time I'm in the city, I don't want to leave.
Right.
And so it sucks, but they're sacrificing too. They don't get to see their kids often. So, you kind of all make do just for legacy and for trying to make the best out of their careers while you can. Because my dad knows, like, once it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
Can't go back.
Yeah, I want to shout out Kayla, obviously showing us a lot of love, and
Yeah.
I think she's getting her jersey retired tomorrow at Syracuse, right?
Dude, yes. She was supposed to do it in November when I
Right.
had the FIBA window so that I could go. But no, she decided to do it in December selfishly. So no, I'm joking. But yeah,
Uh,
my family just got out there. My sisters got out there, so they're gonna go retire
nice.
her jersey at Syracuse. Yo, shout out Big Sis. She's a
Yeah,
legend, man.
she
She's a
is a
goat.
legend, man. Yeah, no doubt.
Man.
We've talked about the World Cup team, Kyle. In my opinion, such a special team and group for a lot of reasons. I'll never forget that summer just locking in on the games. I was in a few different cities throughout the tournament, making sure I caught it as a fan and as a supporter. But you know, as you're going through that tournament with those guys and that roster, like a little bit of up and down at times, but historic group, did you guys really get a sense of how special it was going to be or could be? Like, what were moments or conversations like amongst you all through that tournament, man?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that was a typical conversation. Was like, yo, this is one of the best teams that Canada basketball has put together until
Yeah,
that Olympic team, right? And so this is one of the best teams Canada basketball has ever put together. Like, we need to take advantage of this, and like we're trying to do something special, and we did. One of the best teams Canada basketball's ever had. We won a bronze. I don't think they've ever medaled in the World Cup
right.
or at the or any. I think they've ever medaled, right?
Olympics was like back in the 30s or something. Like it
Yeah,
was,
okay.
yeah,
So I think there
yeah,
was one. So
yeah,
so yeah, no, that's especially like Rowan Barrett. He's really good at making sure you understand that, like, yo, this means something, and
yeah,
like, yo, we're trying to do something special. So his speeches, even when we were doing the Olympic stuff and trying to make that team and trying out, they had like all the guys from, like, the old Olympic teams come in and, like,
yeah.
dude, they're really good at making sure you understand, like, yo, this means something for everybody, and it doesn't even really put pressure. It kind of just gives you a sense of pride, like, yo, I'm representing something special here, and I want to do it for everybody. So yeah.
Yeah, I loved you had one of the best quotes, if you will, I thought at the end of the tournament there and like Canada basketball, like Muad and the guys put together that video montage piece, but you guys are in the locker room and you were like BAB, man, bronze ain't bad. And I thought like that was cool. That was a great tournament, right? It really elevated the program in so many ways to finally qualify for the Olympics after so long. I really liked your group. I thought it was really great to have key guys that were part of the winter core, like yourself, Trey, Phil, Melvin, rightfully earned spots on that World Cup team. I thought that was personified what it took to, get the team there, qualify for the World Cup, and then it eventually led to the qualification for the Olympics, man. Just a great group of guys, man. Such a cool team. It's definitely been, in 25 years almost of like really loving the program. I got to say it's my favorite team, no question. It did a lot for the program and great group of guys. Who have you grown close with, man, over their national team time? Like maybe a guy that you didn't know so well, but then once you started spending time together in camp or on teams, who are you tight with Canada basketball?
Well, first, I just want to say I'm honored to be on your favorite team, so thank you.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but
yeah,
I would say without a doubt, I didn't before Canada basketball. I didn't know Trey Bell Haynes
yeah,
and Melvin Edgem like that well, and now, like, we have a group chat with just the three of us. Every time we ever together with Team Canada, it sucks. I don't think Melvin's going to do it anymore, but every time that we all get together with like Team Canada, we're always playing cards, Monopoly, Deal, Uno, President,
yeah,
like like that's my like Trey Bell-Haynes, like that's my guy. In the summers we link up now. We see each
Nice.
other training. So yeah, that's my guy. Trey Bell-Haynes is a guy I didn't know well before, but a stand-up dude. And I love playing with him too. Great PG. So yeah, I'd say him, Melvin. I'm trying to think of anybody else. Oh, Thomas Kennedy. I've only done like 1 or 2 windows with him, but I've really enjoyed getting to know him. I put him onto Monopoly Deal. He loves it. I don't know if you've played. You should try it. It's great. It's a great game.
Yeah. We rocked that at the house. Yeah, I know. Like
Okay.
Trey had some good stories from the World Cup. Like when he joined us pretty quick after the tournament. I feel like it was maybe October-ish, and then just the whole when he would win at cards, not Bell Haynes, not Trey Bell Haynes, like so the guys
Not
are
Trey.
yeah. And I mean Mel joined us, I think, in the first year of the podcast, and Mel's been a warrior for the program, man. Everyone loves him, and great to see him get a spot on the Olympic team this past summer, and always treated us well here on the podcast. All right, Kyle, who is your top 5 or favorite 5 for Canada basketball?
Yeah, you told me this was coming, man. As you know from my story, man, I'm the worst person to ask this question to because
Well,
when I
you put
started
some
playing,
time. You put some time in, man.
sometime in. I'm like all time or like just dudes I've played with.
Whatever you want, man. If you want to all time or guys you play with, you could throw Big Sis in there, put yourself in there, whatever, man.
Oh, shoot. Well, now you're changing things. All right.
It's your 5. Your 5.
This is going to be the worst 5 ever. But or I don't know, it might be out. I'll say I'm gonna go with obviously number 1. I got to go with my guy Jamal Murray. That's
Nice.
number 1. Um, Number 2, I'll probably go with Shea. Because obviously, like I obviously knew he was good, but then I got to see him in the World Cup, and I was like, okay, yeah, this guy's good.
Yeah.
So I'll say Shea at number 2. Honestly, dude, one of my favorite people. I love Dylan Brooks, bro. Like I love him.
Yes. Yes.
He's a competitor, and people actually don't know this. Like the media, because everybody just believes social media and everything. The media kind of sometimes paints him as like this just a bad picture. Dude, DB is one of the best dudes I know.
Right.
Like he's honestly a great dude. Like, dude, I have to say this real quick. When I got out the bubble and still like didn't have a lot of money. I was a rookie. Like I was in the G League.
Yeah.
I wanted to start training because I was hoping to get another 2-way or another contract in the NBA. And I flew to Phoenix, and this guy Dylan Brooks let me stay in his house. He got a 3-bedroom house in Arizona. He let me stay in one of his bedrooms. He was driving me to all the workouts, paying for the workouts, and like letting me stay at his house. Like took care of pretty much everything because I was a pretty much a broke individual and didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
So like he took in me and Justin Jackson and pretty much took care of everything and just let us train with him. And then that year I went over and killed in America in Europe. So dude, he's an amazing dude. He's when he gets on the court, he's just the absolute competitor, and I love that about him. So I have to go. I'm gonna give DB number 3.
Yeah.
And then 4 and 5, I'm gonna just go with the top. I'm gonna go Kelly Olynyk because I'm also a big Kelly fan.
Yeah.
Obviously, I spent time with him in Miami. I love his 7-footer who can do everything. I love it. And then at the 5 position, you said I could put my sister in there, but I don't know. I'll put Kayla in there because she's a legend. So I'll put her in there. But then if it has to be men, I'll put Dwight Powell in there too because big fan of just his character. Like he knows his role. He'll come in. He might score 4 points and have 15 rebounds, block some shots, set great screens. He's going to defend the 5. He's doing everything that the team needs him to do, and he sacrificed so much for the national team, and him and KO were trying to get that Olympic berth for years, put so much time into the program. So that's what I'm gonna go with.
I love it.
My sister Kayla, but if it has to be men, then I'm put DP in there, and that's my 5, man.
Yo, chock full of warriors for the program, which we love here, and some of my faves for sure. I love KO and Dwight as well. Just so great to see them get that Olympic berth and after all those years. And man, great 5, really love it. And I'm gonna clip the DB part. I'm gonna clip the DB part because, like, after in the World Cup when he got tossed and then he's waiting for you guys with the boxing gloves and I think Trey told us a great story how he was always looking out for Zach, the young fella, and making sure Zach had what he needed. Sounds kind of similar to how he was helping you out in Phoenix too, right? So
Yeah, man. Just the parts
senior
the media
men's
doesn't show you.
national team Dylan Brooks like hits different, man. When he puts the red and white on, like I was at the game in Vegas this past summer, like the showcase game against the US before the Olympics, and I mean they did not like DB, right? Like every time he's touching the ball, and he was loving it, man. He was ready to go. So
Mhm.
uh, one of the greats to represent the program for sure, man.
I agree.
Kyle, anyone you'd like to see join us on Canada Hoops? Who's got a good Canada basketball story that should pull up here, man?
Mm,
You might have to help us
man,
link up with them. No pressure, but
I'm trying to think who would you like to have on here, man? Anybody that I know that you want to get on here?
uh,
Have you had KO on here, Kelly?
I have not had Kelly on.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. Let me tell you this. I got Kelly's from Kamloops, right? And I don't know if you probably never been there, but I got roots in Kamloops a little bit. Um, just his story and his time in the game with the national team. Kelly is like Kelly's in my five, of
Mm,
top or favorite. So KO would be super cool, man, for sure.
okay. All right. I might have to shoot him a text message, see if he's willing to do it.
Yeah, I know he's a busy. He's trying to get back on the court, right? He's working through an injury. He hasn't played for
Mm,
the Raps yet. I think he's questionable actually for tonight. See if he plays or not. But
okay.
man, Kyle, any shout outs or thank yous before I get you out of here? Man, this has been an incredible conversation. We truly appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on here. Obviously, I have to do it because I have to do it. I just want to say, like, dude, as much as I love all this basketball stuff and it's all been great, one of the things, man, that's been pushing me through all this is just my faith.
Right.
Obviously, I'm a proud believer, Christian, servant of the Lord, and so uh, to anybody out there, who might watch this, who maybe is overseas struggling, anything like, dude, my walk with Christ has been the foundation that's pushed me through, which changed so much for me. It's part of the reason why, like, I'm super content these days. Like, and so I just want to give all the honor and glory. If I do have any type of a story that anybody would look at and be like, he's done some things. It's all thanks to the Lord. And so I just want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I have to say it. So that's it for me, man.
No, well said. I appreciate that. I try to be a man of faith as well, and
Uh,
especially given our time of year right now, and thankful and very blessed as well. So I appreciate you saying that. Anything else, man? Your last mic for you?
no, that's it, man. Yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's staying healthy out there.
Yeah,
Interesting times in the world, but like I said, follow the Lord. We'll be all right.
definitely, man. That's a wrap on another episode of Canada Hoops. I want to thank Kyle Alexander for pulling up. Thank you for listening. Remember to rate and review us wherever you get your podcast. Check out our YouTube channel. Hit us up on Instagram and X.com. Keep supporting Canada basketball and our Canadian Hoopers, and we will see you on the next episode.